For the second presentation here, we're going to talk about disease states related to movement and so forth. We've already talked about myasthenia gravis. We're going to spend the time on this acoustic one going over Parkinson's disease. And as many of you said in your discussion board postings, you've seen it firsthand. I also have seen it firsthand. My father has had Parkinson's disease now for about 6 or 7 years, and my asthma mentor from Illinois also has had Parkinson's disease for many years, and for both of them it's actually going kind of downhill at this point with their life and with their ability to function properly. So the first thing that we should go over, where to get resources about Parkinson's disease, because if you're in the field of healthcare, it's important to know where the right places to go for getting good information are. So the first place that I would refer you to is the National Institute of Health. The National Institute of Health actually has many different divisions, and the one that would be most important for Parkinson's disease is the Neurological Institute, or the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, NINDS. The National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke. What I'd like you to do is go to that link and basically see if you can find out and put in your own words 3 facts that you find out about Parkinson's disease for there. You'll probably have to do a little search for the letter P. One of the cool things about those particular spots is that you can find information about clinical trials. Now, I don't know if we went over this previously, but you should know some information about clinical trials. I'll give you the Reader's Digest condensed version of this. There are basically 3 phases. Phase 1 is where you just try out a new drug to see if it's safe. The FDA will give you permission to do this. Phase 2, you sometimes have 15 or 20 people in Phase 1. Phase 2, it's a few more people, maybe 50 people would participate, and you not only look to see if the drug is safe, but if it actually works. And then the big phase is Phase 3, clinical trials. You usually do this at many different sites, and you collect information to see if in a randomized control trial the drug actually works. So if you get through Phase 3 of the clinical trials, you can actually get permission from the FDA to release the drug and people can buy it. So those are the 3 phases. 3 organizations, like I said, the NINDS is part of the National Institute of Health, the National Parkinson's Foundation. This is more of a family-based thing where you can also find out about clinical trials and so forth. A lot of overlap with these 3, but these give you things for family and people going through it and kind of life support types of things for Parkinson's disease. The third level of the information is the Michael J. Fox Foundation, and Michael J. Fox was struck with early onset Parkinson's disease many years ago. Famous actor. If you saw Back to the Future, he was great in that, and even Family Ties back in the 70s. And he's used his status as a tremendous actor to raise money to do more and more research about Parkinson's disease and help families cope with these things. Advocacy things with the government, doing community-based walks, and really trying to share with people what can be done about Parkinson's disease. So what I'd like you to do for these 3 resources is to go in and then in your own words kind of share a couple of facts about what you've been able to find out as far as these resources for Parkinson's disease. Next level of conversation are the symptoms. I think I put the symptoms on one of the pages of the handouts there. Parkinson's disease, most of you are familiar with the tremor at rest, where your body moves. It's kind of called a pill roll tremor, because if you were holding a pill, you'd see the hands moving around. Rigidity, the body becomes very rigid. Bradykinesia, where slowness of movement, and then posture also tends to be a problem. Many times we see a lot of people with advanced Parkinson's disease fall. So these are the problematic symptoms. The one good thing we know compared to Alzheimer's disease, which will be later on in the semester, we know a lot about the neuroanatomy of Parkinson's disease. If you look at the picture on the next page, the main area that really seems to be implicated is there's a pathway in the brain. It's called the nigrostriatal pathway. And the big structure that seems to be implicated is not only the nigrostriatal pathway, but a structure called the substantia nigra. It's called substantia nigra because it's stained and it looks black. And what you should know is that 80% of the brain's dopamine is in the substantia nigra. And when people get Parkinson's disease, we see a real loss of dopamine in the substantia nigra and the nigrostriatal pathway. So if you were a drug company or a researcher, what would you try to do? You would try to create chemicals that would really help people with Parkinson's disease by creating dopamine agonists. And the main product that's actually been used, and your book looks like on page 298 has some of the information on this, a dopamine agonist, L-Dopa. L-Dopa can be given to people. It'll be converted in a pill form. It'll get through the blood-brain barrier and be converted into dopamine. And for people in the earliest stages of Parkinson's disease, this can be a very useful product. So many of the products for Parkinson's disease are based on being dopamine agonist. It won't stop the deterioration up in this area, but it is seen to be useful for people with Parkinson's disease. Other products, and this one is actually a little more of a surprise, anticholinergics. This actually goes back a bit to myasthenia gravis, but the treatment is kind of just the opposite. With the motoric functioning going bad, we know it's mostly based in the brain, and we know that the neuromuscular junction is kind of the peripheral nervous system, but they give people with Parkinson's disease drugs that actually block the neuromuscular junction a bit, and this seems to help with the tremors and the other problems that occur. Other treatments for this, deep brain stimulation. This is actually, and if you look on the NINDS website, you'll see that this is actually considered a valid treatment. And now I've actually seen some videos where they actually have people that can actually press little buttons with Parkinson's disease, and it'll actually activate the substantia nigra and cause a release of dopamine up there, so it'll actually cut down on the tremors. So deep brain stimulation can be good. And a lot of you posted on the website information about yoga and Tai Chi, so I actually found a good abstract based on this. So what I'd like you to do is go through this abstract and basically summarize, maybe with just a couple of sentences, what they were up to here and what they basically found, showing that yoga can actually be useful in a behavioral way if you have Parkinson's disease. So Parkinson's disease does cause problems. It'll lead to eventually dementia, a loss of functioning, and these are obviously really bad outcomes. But they're doing a lot of research, and Michael J. Fox has contributed thousands, if not millions of dollars to this whole endeavor and gotten a lot of people to contribute more money to do research on this as well. So see if you can summarize my comments for both of these. Type out your notes, either a detailed outline or type out the information in paragraph form. Send me a draft, and hopefully this will make good sense for you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.